welcome you to the Riverside Weekly. We hope your time with us today is thought-provoking, spiritually challenging, and a life-changing experience. Our discussions and messages can be raw, real, and at times very uncomfortable and even controversial. We highly encourage all of our guests and listeners to take notes, leave comments, and when possible, always share what you hear. And now here are your hosts, Pastor Cello and Pastor Mia.
Welcome!
Good morning.
Yay!
Wednesday.
I thought that was pretty cool that Sunday, the Riverside app sent the notification, Sunday.
Shout out to Rosanna for doing that. That was funny.
That was so funny. I laughed so hard. It was the cutest
So
thing.
if you're, speaking of our Riverside app,
Tell me.
Shameless plug, if you want to just catch our podcast, services, resources, man, anything that you might need. Prayer, involvement, anything that you guys that are watching, if you just want to keep up with us or see what's happening with us, with the church, the Riverside Waco app on your app store. So whatever your app stores are,
yeah,
it's there.
And shameless plug, I know he's going to get mad. He's probably going to kick me under the table. But if you happen to listen to this podcast and you get it before Sunday, if you want to just hang out with us, we're going to be at Pecan Bottoms for our Riverside Quarterly, which is usually just for our members and friends of the members. But you're our friends, and we're members, so you're friends of members.
If you're in town.
Yeah. I'm not driving all the way to Kansas just to take some food to you. I mean, I might, but I need to plan.
Or, if you're in
Hawaii
or Paraguay.
Or
Iraq, wherever it is.
Wherever it is that you're listening.
Anyway, we're getting together Sunday if you want to come hang out.
Yeah, if you want to come hang out, we're going to be at Pecan Bottoms, but maybe we'll do something live from
Get
there.
the app and you'll know what time.
Hey, yeah. Shameless plugs. They work. All right. So, welcome. I just want to dig right in. I know last week was kind of,
Video-wise, it was trash.
Yeah, because the video didn't even record. Should I get up and go check? No. I'm just kidding.
Right.
I just want to make sure because it didn't record and it was such a good episode. If you didn't listen to it, go back and listen to it.
You can't watch it, but you can listen to it on YouTube. So I know
it's okay. We didn't really look right that day anyway, but today.
Speaking for yourself, I woke up like this.
Did you?
Every day I wake up.
And I'm wearing my little Star Wars ode to the lovely Chewbacca. Okay, I love Chewbacca. Anyway, so we've been binge watching. Let me just say this.
Why do you tell on us, man?
Because
we're supposed to be holy, sanctified, spending hours upon hours and days and nights and weekends and holidays in the presence of God, reading our Bible, worshiping, praying, no social life, no whatever. Anyway, so now they know that we're not. We actually binge watch.
Sips tea, be quiet. I'm sips coffee. Don't put me on a pedestal because I'll just fall right off of it myself. Yeah, my head's so heavy it'll just on the floor. Oh, I'm sorry, that's your head. We have a running joke for Lozanos. They have a big dome.
It's not really a joke. It's facts.
It is facts. It is facts, honey. Pobrecito. Okay. Anyway, so
the joke is real fast.
Go ahead. Enlighten us.
If you're a Lozano, you probably have a big head. Probably takes a while for your body to catch up with your head. I love my grandkids, all of them, but all of them have that two things that you deal with. You deal with a big noggin,
and
you have to. Most of the time, unintentionally, you will walk around with one sock or have one sock on your foot.
No matter what. We don't even know how. It just happens.
Come out of the womb. They put socks on the baby. One sock comes off every time.
I hadn't even made our shirts yet. I need to do that and give it to all the kids for Christmas.
Sidetrack, sorry.
That was pretty good, though. Thanks for reminding me. Shirt idea. Put it in there. Remind me, okay? If I don't remind myself, someone text me and remind me.
So binge watching.
Okay. So we have been watching. We try to figure out what movie is worth watching because, most of it's trash out there. And someone told us about this. We'll shout out to Marco. He's the one who really enlightens us to try to stay hip and,
all these young people.
Yeah, and relevant.
One of many.
Yeah, and so we started watching this movie this series called The Umbrella Academy. And if you've seen it, you're like, yeah, that's dope, yeah, woo! And if you didn't, you're like, what?
Or there are probably people like me.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, it's something to watch. It's something to
watch.
It's
pretty good.
However, I will say that I kind of like it, and I'll say it this way, and this is what made me want to talk about this podcast. I dream apocalyptic dreams a lot. Why are you laughing?
Because it's true.
It is true.
Wakes up in the morning, the world's going to end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, though, guys, I really am an apocalyptic dreamer, and I dream things that are to come, and it's been that way. You can talk to my oldest sister. She'll tell you she shared a room with me for many years, and I would tell her something, and then it would happen, and she'd be like, I don't like you. I'm going to move out. And so she did. She ran away from home, moved out. I didn't mean to scare her. I just didn't know that I had that kind of power. You know? If you've seen Umbrella Academy, you're laughing. Okay. All right. So
moving right along.
So, saying all that to say that I like this show because it talks about the apocalypse and how...
Right now, where we're at.
Yeah, right now. And...
we haven't watched all the episodes, so we don't know.
Right. That's true.
I got to clarify.
Okay, that's true. So, I'm not going to tell you anything, who dies, who lives, who what, but I'm just giving you the basis of the story and how it relates to me. And I would say, so basically, these kids have powers. Right? So this is the intro. So you're going to know this anyway. So there's 43 kids that were born on one day. This rich man, he goes to buy them all. And no one wants to sell their kids except for 7. So he's able to collect 7 of them. So basically, these kids have powers, and he trains them to find those powers.
To develop them.
Discover and develop. Yeah, discover and develop. So I went to sleep last night after watching this, and I really have to pray after watching these kinds of shows. You can nod your head, think all you want. So I really have to pray after watching these shows because they make me think about things on, and this is going to sound real dumb, but on a deeper level.
Okay.
And it made me think, and I woke up with my son's song on my mind. So if you don't know and you don't watch us, which I'll post about it, but my son is a rapper, and he's very mentally mature.
I guess, yeah. Emotional, mental, I don't know.
Mental, because he said that. My mind is real old. My mind is real old.
Our son is mental.
Nah, I don't mean it like that. He is that too. But I'm just saying that his mindset is older because he was raised with his siblings and were around adults. He wasn't really around kids.
He's older. Always around older.
Always around older.
Older people.
Older people. Never any kids his age. And his best friend was 7 years older than him.
Yeah.
So that makes, a difference. And so I woke up with his song on my head this morning. It says, I don't even know which one because I went to listen to try to find which one it was. But he was talking about what he has for us is greater. And it made me think of that movie. It made me think of that show. These were just ordinary children born to people. And he knew that they had something, so he went and collected them so that he could develop their powers, right? So my thought this morning on
here it comes.
Apocalyptic was, how come we as humans, how come we as spiritual beings in a fleshly body, having a human experience, how come we don't live with the expectation of what's to come? Why don't we live like that? Why don't we live knowing? Okay, I'm just spoiler alert. Close your ears if you don't want to hear. So they're getting prepared for this apocalypse that's coming, and only one of the 7 knows about it. So he's trying to get all the other 6 on the same page, right?
Okay.
So he's living for this apocalypse, and he's like doing all of his moves are for this apocalypse that's coming. And so once they diffuse the apocalypse, that's what they think. Once they diffuse the apocalypse, he feels like there's nothing that he has to live for. Okay. So everybody thinks they're ordinary. Like one of them, she thinks she's ordinary. Everybody thinks they're ordinary. And I just talked to somebody yesterday that said that. Oh, man, I remember when I was that creative. No, you're creative because the Creator lives inside you. No one is ordinary. We were created for something more. Why don't we live like we're getting ready for the apocalypse? How come we don't live like we're getting ready for his return?
So we should gather guns, ammo, and food?
Yes.
I know what you're saying. I'm just having fun.
But I'm saying, so it made me...
Somebody was thinking that.
Yes.
So we should be gathering food, guns, ammo,
and learning all the trades, the powers, practicing. I meant what? But I'm just saying that, and you can tell my passion has arose in me because I thought about it and I was like, we're not living for... What he has in us is greater. That's what my son says in his songs, and he talks about that in several of his songs, that what he has for us is greater, but we don't live up to our full potential because we don't have those pastors, Sorry, guys. But we don't have those pastors that are not doing what this man was doing. What was he doing? What'd you say? He's nurturing, training and developing those, discovering those gifts that were inside, those powers that were inside them. We don't have somebody doing that for us.
I try.
Oh yes, you try. You try. But I'm just
I didn't say I'm good at it, but I do try.
But I'm just saying, on the natural, people don't. They don't have someone developing and nourishing those gifts in them and trying to bring them up from them.
So, I don't know.
I'm ready to flip tables over. I'm saying, I'm like really hyped about it because I'm just like, what he has for us is greater. I get it, G.
Yeah.
I get it. And listening to his song, in his songs, if you listen to my son, he's like yelling and screaming, and I feel his passion right now. He's like, greater than all my problems, and he's like, he's yelling in the song, and I feel his passion, and I feel why he's so frustrated all the time, because he knows what's inside of him is greater, and so he's trying to bust out of that, and everybody keeps trying to stifle it.
Not me.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm probably the worst ones. No.
But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Help me. Help G. Help me. Help everybody else who is like G. There are people that have said, I've left church because I was stunted, or I didn't feel I'm not growing, or I'm not.
Classic Christian departures.
Yeah.
The classic Christian departure from church or Christianity is, I'm not growing here.
Okay, but sometimes that's an excuse.
I know. I'm saying.
Okay,
that's
but I'm
what they
saying
say.
if and this goes back to teachers. Teachers in a classroom, homeschool teachers mainly, really, honestly, because you have all these different grades in this classroom, and you have to do them all at different levels, right? Well, that's the same with pastors. We have a congregation of babies, and some that aren't spiritually grown enough yet, some that are spiritually grown. And you say all the time that you can't, what is that? The cap you say about pastors, the lid.
Leadership lid.
Yeah, your leadership lid. You can only lead those
where you're at. In other words, you can't lead. You have so much.
I know.
So much that I want to address. But
I know. I'm just like, ah!
They have.
I feel like Michael Jackson. Ah! That's how I feel. Yeah. Oh! Sorry. That's why I said I'm ready to flip over tables. I'm like,
it's hard because, you addressed several issues to me, not just in the world, but from the church's perspective, right? The number one. Just what I said a second ago, right? So the number one reason I feel like that I've heard in my 20-something years of being in ministry probably the number one thing that I've heard people say when they're leaving a church or when they want to stop going to church is, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm not being fed. I'm not growing. They give you this whole list of,
but that could
God
be
told
true.
me to, well, hold on. Okay. God told me to leave. Like they give this whole list of things, and they're expecting a lot of times, I think, the pastor or the leadership to nurture them, tickle their ears, and give them the things that they want to hear. And then you have the other aspect where the pastors and leadership hold on to them so tight that they won't let them grow and develop.
That's what I'm talking about.
So for me to kind of address that from a quote unquote pastoral perspective, for me, I think the thing that I've wrestled with and I've tried to really implement within our church, within Riverside, is going back to the scriptures. It says that my responsibility as a pastor is to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And
we should be helping them with their powers that's inside them.
Right, but we don't, as most of the time, pastors and leaders, one, don't know how to do that, have never been told how to do that, or think they know how to do it, and they're not very good at it. And this is where the struggle is, because to me, I liken pastoring like parenting. When you have a baby, they come and they're so cute, they're excited. But then when they start growing and developing and discovering things that they're good at, things that they like, parents, we don't like that because we no longer have control over our kids. Then they start making the decisions that we don't agree with. They start doing things that we don't like. And then we become even feeling more like we don't have any control. And now we're even more upset. And so these kids are growing and developing and doing, but now they're making decisions that they're wanting to leave and all this other stuff. And I liken it to pastors, because pastors, they get somebody, they come to church, they start coming to church, they get born again, water baptized, filled with the Holy Ghost, man, they're really good. And then they start making choices and decisions that we don't like. And then we want to parent them. Like we literally, well, you can't do that. And you're not supposed to do that. And you're supposed to you're supposed to do it this way. And, and so
we've always done it that way.
We've always done it that way, right? And so I think a lot of times what we do as leaders, what we do as parents, and kind of using those in the same manner, what we do as parents and leaders, as pastors, church leadership, what we do is we do exactly what you said. We stifle the growth and development of others because we're afraid of how great they can be. Because sometimes that means that they'll be better than us. They'll know more than us. They'll be stronger than us. They'll do greater works than us. And we don't like that because it makes us feel minuscule, right? Minuscule, right? And so I always try to take the position of, I want to be Phil Jackson, not Michael Jordan, right? I want to be like Jesus, not the disciples. Jesus came and gave us salvation, right? But it's the disciples that turned the world upside down. But we don't think in those terms. We want to be Jesus doing all the miracles and doing all this. Jesus was just the coach. Jesus was just the parent saying, hey, you can do this, you can do that.
Them with the
yes,
power.
He gave them power. And then he actually says, all power and authority has been given to me, so therefore you go do it now. And what we do as a lot of times as parents is that we don't let people be great for God. We don't want people to be great for God, because if they're greater than we are, then we don't look as powerful. But I'm from the mindset and the understanding that in order to have a great team, you have to have even greater coach. You have to have does that make sense? So for you to have great kids, that means you have to be even a better parent. And we don't like that. We want to parent them, but we don't want to coach our kids. We want to parent our kids. So when you think about parenting, that you literally tell them what to do, how to do it, when they're going to do it, when you're going to use your restroom, go to bed, like everything. And a lot of times that's what we do in churches. We say, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to have to do this, A, B, C, D. So we put all these, what'd you call it?
A box.
We put them in this box and say you have to operate that way.
Parameters.
Yeah. And so they never discover their potential. Now in this, when you go back to looking at
the Umbrella
Academy, all of the perspectives of those kids, without giving a spoiler alert and all that,
I know,
but all their perspective of those kids, they love the father, but they hated his methods. But as the season moves on, the methods are revealing themselves that it was always about making them better. And a lot of times I think that that's where church people when they have a good leader, when they have a good pastor, when they have good church leadership, whether it's an organization, same thing with parents, is that when they understand later that the parent it wasn't that they hated them, it wasn't that but they're trying to pull the best out of them.
There you go.
And for me, that's where I struggle, because when I see people that walk through the door for our first time in our congregation, if we have a visitor, a guest that comes through, 9 times out of 10, I can look at them and go, man, they're gold. Like, they have potential. And then there's some people you're like, whew, I'm not sure if I want you to stay around because you don't want to do anything. Like, you walk in the door and you're just like, yeah, and it's sad, but that's the truth. Right?
Okay.
Like, we all want a winning team, but we don't want to have the winning players. And we want to take the people that are minuscule, people that don't have a desire to do anything, right? And then we just want to chalk them off. But sometimes those individuals are just full of creativity, power, potential, extraordinary, but we have to be patient as pastors and leaders to pull them out.
Yes.
I didn't say that when I say, like, I don't want them here. I'm like, oh my God, it's not that I don't see the potential. I see the work.
Yeah.
Right. So you have some people that come in, you're like, man, I can build on that.
Where everyone has purpose and anyone can serve.
And so what I hear your passion and your frustration is that I think there's 2 aspects. I think leaders struggle because they don't know how to pastor, they don't know how to lead.
Okay.
And so because they think they do, they don't find out better ways to do it.
Okay.
Same thing with parenting. Well, you and I know we've done parenting classes in all our years of doing ministry. You do a parenting class, and all the parents that don't need help show up.
And
then all the parents that don't need help.
No, the parents that need help don't show up.
And it's the same thing with marriage. We've done huge marriage events for couples, and then all the couples that have really good marriages that are constantly working on themselves, they all show up. And then all the ones that are having issues and they say, I want marriage help, they never show up. Right? And it's the same thing a lot of times I think with leaders. The members, the congregation, the individuals of the organization, they say that they want something, but they just think, this is where everybody's gonna get mad at me. A lot of times people just think that they want to do good. They want to be great. They want to have powers. They want to be extraordinary. And it's just they're literally stuck in a social media program because they feel like they're doing it because they're watching it. Mm-hmm. They watch it on TV, so that makes, I can do that. You can't do that, right? But if you have somebody in your life that can draw those things out, that can help you get to it, you have to be willing to go through all. You have to be willing to develop. You have to be willing to go through all of the sweat, blood, tears, the suffering, the struggle. Like, I mean, everybody wants to be like Mike, right? We want to be like Kobe. We want to be like, LeBron. We want to be like LeBron, right? We want to be like all these guys that are sports figures and do these things. When you're a kid, nobody says like, I want to be the guy that's the third or fourth round draft pick, right? They want to be the guy that's a first round pick, right? And so first round draft pick. And so when we look at the scriptures, I remember when we look at the scriptures, we say, I want to be like Paul. I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like Abraham. I want to be like Moses. Well, if you read the scriptures, do you really want to be like Paul? Because when you look at everything that he dealt with, there was no happy days, bro.
That's like Stephen. I want to be a great servant like Stephen. Oh, okay, we'll take you out back and stone you.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
But you don't want that. You don't want to suffer.
Yeah, and
you don't want to find out what's inside you. You just listening to all those stupid other voices. I think that's why I'm so passionate. You listen to all those dumb voices tell you how ordinary you are. How dare they tell you how ordinary you are?
Or sometimes it's not listening to the voices or people that are telling you how ordinary you are, but the fact that you actually believe that you're ordinary. That
that you're not, that the greater one doesn't live inside you, that the creator doesn't live inside you, that he didn't endow you with powers.
Right. And so we have that mindset a lot of times. So
or the ability.
Right. So we think that we have to do all these things in order for us to be great. But sometimes being great is being the one person that opens the door.
Yes.
Being the one person that offers water when nobody else is.
Yes.
That doing the things that nobody else is willing to do because it's not politically correct. It's one thing. It's one thing to be at opposing sides in your thought process and your belief system, but it's an entirely different thing to walk across the aisle, to walk across the street, to walk across when everybody's screaming that you agree with and hand somebody else a cup of water. Show them some love. Be kind. We don't like doing that because it goes back, it makes us uncomfortable. And the uncomfortability is what draws the greatness. That's what God uses to draw the greatness out of us, is us being uncomfortable. And that's what the dad was doing. He was putting them in so many uncomfortable positions and in situations, but as he would do that, they were getting stronger in understanding what their abilities were. And at the whole time, they're mad at him, right? Like they're just frustrated. And sometimes I feel like that's how my congregation is with me, my members, my leaders. Like, you know, we have...
How dare you make me think? How dare you make me grow? Right?
It's funny, but, you know, we had a staff meeting the other day. And it was funny because everybody started off, well, Pastor Cello, he just, and they're huffing and puffing because they know, like, I'm not the pastor, I'm not the guy that's going to let you come and give me an answer of, well, I don't know. I'm not the guy that's going to be like, well, whatever. Like, you don't get a whatever with me. You don't get a I don't know. You don't get a check of just like, okay, pass. Now, if you say, well, I don't know, then you don't know and you don't need to be here. If you say that, well, I don't understand, or if you don't have a desire to understand, or you don't want a desire to grow, you're not going to last here. You're not going to last on leadership. You're not going to last on staff, because I require exactly opposite of what you said. I require and expect every person in our church that comes through the door, whether a church member, leader, or congregation, people that's visiting, I expect everybody to think for themselves, to have their own relationship with Christ, to have their own relationship with God, and to grow. Right? I expect that. And a lot of times when people come, if they don't want to grow, they're not going to like it here. If they like being comfortable, they're not going to like it here. I make people uncomfortable because
yes, we know.
Yes, we know. That's you talk to anybody, like, yeah, he just makes you uncomfortable.
And he gives you that smile, as Renee would say. He's like,
yeah, but it's because, like the dad, like the father in the Umbrella Academy. Yeah. I see the greatness. I see the potential. And if you're not willing to rise up to that, I can't make you. I can just give you the opportunity. And I think that's what your frustration and your passion is that you look at the church, you look at where we're at, you look at, it goes back to what I mentioned in one of the other podcasts, I think,
I'm trying not to be frustrated.
We're all excited. We're all excited about Jesus coming. Jesus is coming. We can't wait for Jesus to get here. But before he gets there, there's got to be hardship. There's got to be suffering. You're going to have to, I hate to say it, I love you guys, but you're going to have to be fighting against the machine. You're going to have to be fighting against what's coming. Yep. Well, I'm waiting for the great revival. The revival's not coming because you won't fight against what the world systems are. Yep. So until you can go like, you know what, I'm just going to suffer for the cause of Christ, until you get to that mindset, which is you're talking about, you're not going to see revival. You're not going to see anything. Our problem is that we're so afraid of the apocalypse that we pray that Jesus will take a little bit longer to get here. We're afraid that all this is going to happen. Well, I don't want Jesus to come because I want to see my kids grow up. I don't want Jesus to come because I want to get married. I don't want Jesus to come yet, right? And so we're praying for all these things, but until we can understand that, look, greatness don't come unless there's adversity. Greatness doesn't come unless there's a challenge. Greatness doesn't come unless there's uncomfortability. Because when greatness comes, that is what is in the midst of all that. You look at Paul, greatness. You look at all the disciples, greatness. You look at Stephen, greatness. You look at Abraham, greatness. You look at David, greatness. You look at Moses, greatness. Noah, greatness. You look at Jesus. Jesus says, if there be any other way, Dad, listen, I know I'm supposed to go to the cross and I'm supposed to get whipped, but if there's any other way, even Jesus was looking for a way out, right? Is there any other way? But out of that came greatness. And we want greatness without suffering. We want greatness without trials. We want greatness without temptation. We want greatness without situations. Suffering? Mm-hmm. We want greatness with all this. And I love what you're saying is because you're not going to get greatness unless you get that. Greatness doesn't come by sitting on the couch and swiping up and swiping down and swiping left, liking this and liking that, retweeting or binge watching. Well, whoa. Well, we don't mess with the binging. We got to have a binge.
I'm just saying because we can binge watch, we can do those things. But what are you looking at it? What is it doing for you? Is it going to inspire you? Is it going to change you? Is it going to, what do you always say? that was a movie. I'm never going to get my 2 hours of my life back.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But for me, I find it very odd that it inspired me to want to find the greatness in others, or to be like, we've got power inside us. We just needed somebody to
pull it out.
Bring it out. Yeah, pull it out. But you don't like that. You don't like uncomfortability. You don't like change. You don't even like, nothing new. New is bad,
It's funny, you made me think about some things when you just said that. If you want to find out where the most inspirational and motivational information comes, look for the posts that only have like one like. Look for the people who's not being shared.
Honey,
no, I'm saying
I'm
because when you look at the popular vote, when you look at the popular likes, they're feel-good messages, they're feel-good quotes, and a lot of tickling the ears. A lot of times, here's the thing that I think is interesting, is that a lot of times we will literally copy and paste and share off of something like we'll share somebody else's, but we don't have our own quotes that God told us. We won't share something that God showed us in the we share everybody else's experience with God. We don't share our own experiences with God. And we want credit for what we're sharing because somebody spent 4 hours, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, just a minute and a half spending some time with God. God speaks to them. They post it. That's good. And we post it and share it instead of spending our time with God, instead of hearing from what God has, because we don't like the suffering of having to find out, well, what is God? Because when I don't know about you guys, but when God talks to me, He's not nice. God ain't never been nice to me. I love God, but He ain't never been nice to me.
Remember the story you said about the pastor that was cussing and yelling and screaming in the other room? And he comes out and the guest minister says, "You all right?"
Oh, it was the pastor. Yeah, the guest ministers. I'll tell them the story real fast. So there's a guest minister. He's speaking at a church. The guest minister's upstairs in a guest room. The pastor's downstairs waiting for service to get started, so they're going to go to the church. The pastor's in the restroom. He hears a guy screaming and cussing and yelling, and then guy comes down. The guest minister comes down, and he goes, "Were you on the phone?" He's like, "No, I was talking to God." He goes, "You talk to God like that?" And he says,
"I don't talk to God like that. I would never talk to God."
He goes, "Well, I suggest if you don't have that kind of relationship, not to be talking to God like that." Right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that we want to have somebody else's relationship with God without having to put in the work, without having to discover what's on the inside of us by spending time with God, right?
That's what this man was doing in the Umbrella Academy. He is making them put in the work so that they can find out what's inside them, the greatness that's inside them.
I want to run the 100-yard dash super fast, but I don't like going to track.
Like me. I want to lose weight, but I won't go to the gym. I'm sorry.
Whoa. We're going to end on there because you done went personal on that one. No, I'm done. I'll see you later. Guys, I love y'all. I'm done. Thank you guys for subscribing, liking, sharing. She just ruined this whole podcast. Don't talk about working out. Don't talk about losing weight. Oh, my gosh. I love you guys. Y'all be blessed. Hope you guys got something. Like, share, post. I got to end it. I guess she messed me up. She got in my business bad. I'm done.
Thank you for listening to the Riverside Weekly. Download the Riverside Waco app to stay connected and follow us on all social media sites at the Riverside Waco. This podcast is made possible by the givers of Riverside Community Church. Production and engineering provided by Capital G and RTV in Waco, Texas.